So I'm here with Hikaru Nakamura, who's just finished the second day of action here at Weissenhaus. Hikaru, it's been 2 long days of rapid freestyle chess. What are your first impressions? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday I did not play particularly well. I was trying to get into the rhythm, but I think every game I played, at some point I was losing, maybe even winning at some point in every game as well. So it was very choppy. But I think today I really stabilized, and I just played simple chess for the most part, and good things seemed to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned yesterday it started off against Magnus, but you kind of stabilized at some point. You found your way back in, and kind of heading into today, you weren't quite safe. You were on 2 points, I believe. Did you have a specific strategy in mind?
Well, I mean, I think the first things first is the Magnus game. Honestly, I think it epitomizes why it's very, very tough to play. I mean, I would say impossible, frankly, if you want a high-quality game in Fischer Random, in Rapid or Blitz, just because that was a game where time played a huge role. There were a couple of moments in the game where Magnus played some moves that were a little bit dubious, but I was low on the clock and I couldn't capitalize or even save the game. And I think that really symbolizes why I don't particularly like the format. I don't think players should be eliminated based off of Rapid or Blitz in general. But then, yeah, I think today, you know, the main thing was I had what I would say were slightly easier pairings. I didn't have to play Magnus. I didn't have to play Ali Reza. Maybe Fabiano, of course. I mean, he is very dangerous. But overall, I thought the pairings were a little bit softer today. And you know, the good thing is, since it is top 8 who move on, you know, finishing, you know, with only 2 players being eliminated, if I can't make it into the top 8, I mean, that's really my own fault. So I felt pretty good, and I think I played much more simplistic chess, especially after the first round against Sidorov. Just played simple and tried to keep it relatively easy to play, where I didn't have to spend a lot of time, and it paid huge dividends, especially in the last 2 games, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you mentioned the time format for, I mean, Fischer Random freestyle chess here, because I was speaking to Levon last night, and he was playing some blitz games with Fedoseev. They were trying to play themselves into form. They were playing against each other. And I was like, wait, why are you guys playing kind of normal chess? Surely you should be playing blitz, kind of Fischer Random. But they were like, no, there's just no point, right?
Well, I mean, I tried that yesterday, and I mean, that's not necessarily an excuse, but I think the fact that I tried to play 3+1 a bunch before the event started was very bad, because actually I tried to play normally, like just focus on the opening, go down a little bit of time. And then somewhere around like the 7th or 8th game that I was playing, I think it was against like Buddy Pranav and maybe then Theodoro as well, I just started playing fast and not caring about the opening, and then it went really downhill. So I tried that yesterday, and I think it didn't work. I played a little bit of regular blitz this morning, actually, so I don't think there's a good way to approach it. That kind of symbolizes why I'm not a big fan of the quicker format. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it's also kind of weird, because I was having a conversation with Peter Heine at breakfast, and I was sort of saying how it's kind of weird because you don't know what to do. On the one hand, it's nice to not have to prepare, but at the same time, I mean, every single one of us has spent, I mean, okay, Gukesh is young, but the older guard at least, like you look at Fabiano, Magnus, myself, and Levon, we've spent at least 20 years going to tournaments. You spend a couple of hours, I mean, whether it's at night or morning, whatever, you spend a few hours before the game preparing. And it's very strange not to do that, and then you also don't know how you're supposed to prepare. So I think my big takeaway is that playing too much before is not good, and also I think you have to come in fresh. That's the most important thing. And when you see a bunch of positions like I did yesterday with the knights on the edge or knights in the middle, it all kind of becomes whatever and very blah. So I think it's just you have to be fresh, and that's why I think it's not worth it to really spend much time preparing.
So you didn't spend too much time doing specific kind of training for this event, looking at kind of patterns, looking at ideas?
No, I mean, I think it's very hard to do that. There was a conversation last night where I think Fabiano was Fabiano, Ali Reza, and myself, and Fabiano was essentially saying that if you spend 2 hours, not 2 hours, sorry, if you basically play like four rapid games every day for 2 years, you can probably memorize all the starting positions. And Ali Reza definitely didn't believe that. I certainly don't believe that. So unless someone has some magic way of like basically in your mind coding it where you can remember the specific piece placement, I don't think it's realistic, and I think it's counterproductive if anything, because then when you get to board, like even with Fabiano when we were analyzing some positions, it looks familiar to something you've seen, but you really don't know. It's like, is it bishop on G1? Is it on like E1? You know, some of the pieces are the same, but then you can't remember the rest.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a huge benefit. Also, I mean, when I played Magnus in 2018 in Norway, we played a match. For that one, I think we were given some like 30 minutes or 45 minutes before each game where we could consult with a computer program or a second. And I remember very distinctly that in basically every game, I prepared some lineup to like move 3. Or not move 3, to like move 5 or move 6. Like I would play the best moves. Of course, you look at what the computer says, and then I was already out of prep anyway on move 3 because Magnus or I did something different that we weren't ready for. So even with the benefit of trying to prepare, it didn't really work out. So I don't think there's much benefit. I think it comes down to who comes up with the best opening plan. I will say, however, that looking at all the players here, it seems to me that Fabiano is probably the player who has put in the most time. In terms of preparation, he seems to have a pretty good grasp on what the ideas are. So if anyone's impressed me, it's Fabiano.
Okay, and I'll let you go because it's been a long couple of days. But final quick question: anyone you want to play in the quarterfinals? Anyone you want to avoid?
I mean, apparently I'm playing Magnus, which is that's what I was told. Wow. I don't know if that's the case. Again, I also don't know because I think I think maybe one or two players pick the numbers. I actually don't know, but I was told that I play Magnus, so that'll be fun. I think that in general, I don't really care who I play. I'm just happy that it's going to be slow chess where I have time to think. I mean, the fact that I can spend time to think means that, I shouldn't make some huge blunder and lose a game unnecessarily. So if I get outplayed, I get outplayed, but it's going to be fun no matter what.
Hikaru, best of luck in the quarters, whoever you play.
Thank you.
Thank you.